Shall we do one more nodule type video? I think we shall. I think we should. I don't know if I've done one quite like this. So, I'll do it because I need to spall it and reduce it anyway. It's got a curve, although it's kind of flat this side. It's got a curve on this side, so gotta lose some length anyway, I guess. No matter what I do. Gravel chert. I knew that before I struck it. Yep, it was gravel chert. Gravel chert is not always poor quality. Sometimes it's good. I'm still assessing stone that I received from it goes by several names, from Luke Chert. Yeah. So, let you know soon. I've been looking at different rock sources and stuff, since I probably will not continue to offer flakes or spalls or bifaces. Maybe bifaces, but I doubt it. I'm going to be offering mainly finished points and blades, simple blades. Is there a better way to do this? There might be. Let me think about this. I knocked that big old end off because I didn't want to deal with any incipient cracks. I just didn't want to deal with it. So I knocked knocked that off completely, but that angle is not that great for sending in flakes. Yeah. This kind of stuff, gravel chert, a lot of times is pretty good for heat treat applications. So if you're set up for heat treat with a turkey roaster or a dedicated kiln or oven, why do I say dedicated? Because sometimes this stone gets kind of smelly. You don't want to have it indoors usually, because of the smell, unless it doesn't really matter. It could be in a shop, I guess. Yeah, so if you have a dedicated setup, you can heat treat a lot of this gravel chert and pretty much double the amount that is easily nappable. You save the raw stuff that's easily napped in the raw state, put that aside, and whatever doesn't seem to nap well, start heat treating. Half the stuff you get from gravel, it's going to be like that. It's going to be almost impossible to break open. But it varies. Sometimes the nodule will be nice in some areas and hard in other areas. Hard in terms of nappability. It's all usually pretty dense and hard in that way, in that respect. Difficult. Some of the nodule may be easy to nap, and some may be difficult. Now this is becoming a mess. It's got internal issues, so I'm not too upset about losing it. Yeah, I can't maintain the width because it has cracks that penetrate in to the width. So there's no way to preserve the width. All right, thickness, I've got to reduce the thickness a lot. Could I have split it exactly in half? Is there a way to tell that that crack existed before I started napping on it? I suppose there might be, but you have no way of knowing how deep that crack is. And unless you can saw it with a stone or tile saw, There really isn't any good way to knap it. Crack it directly in half. Really is not a good. There is no really good method that I know of. Now, how would I reduce this? That's what you're all knowing or all wanting to know. With luck and lots of hammering. Actually, that reminds me. I could actually be using a hammer. An actual hammer. Because this stuff is very tough. Yeah. I don't know. Sparks. Sparks are flying. I don't know. Sometimes when you use the hammer, you create a lot of incipient cracks like that. There's not much use in these spalls coming off because there's the cracks in them. Yeah. If you use a steel hammer. If you use a steel hammer, so that was fun. I think that's it. I would heat treat those pieces. Because remember, heat treating an entire spall is risky. Or an entire nodule, I should say. But you can heat treat flakes and little nodules. Yeah. So there you go. Heat treat those and you get some little arrowheads, which are fine for deer hunting or whatever you want to hunt. With the exception of maybe some big game, but even big game can be taken down with a powerful bow, highly spined arrows, stiff arrows and a strong bow. The size of the length of the arrowhead doesn't matter too much. It's the width that creates the cut. Especially if it's a pass-through. It's not going to be jiggling around inside the wound and slicing it with the edge of the blade of the arrowhead. If it's a pass-through like everybody wants, complete pass-through through both lungs and both sets of ribs, that's it. You're just going to create a channel. And the width of the channel is what matters. It's not going to get stuck inside and it's not going to be jiggling around while the animal runs. So this side blade, it's not going to be cutting internal organs if it passes all the way through. So it just needs to be wide, not long. Okay. Of course, if it's long, then you're covering all bases. Because just in case it does stop in the middle, it doesn't pass all the way through, it's in there jiggling around, and then if you have a long sharp blade, you do have that benefit. So to get the best of both worlds, yeah, you make it a little bit longer and you're good to go. But little arrowheads still work, that's the point, so to speak. Okay, so what am I going to do now? I just showed you how to turn the nodule into gravel. Let me see. I've got some bifaces. I should make a knife blade out of one that is lopsided, where one, it's not a flat bottom triangle. Let's see. I'm not talking about a modern knife blade. I don't know if I actually have napped a modern shaped knife blade on video. I don't know, I can't remember. So what happens is this up here becomes the tang of the knife, and I just do whatever I want with this part. It's already slanted, so I don't have to worry about feeling guilty of losing too much mass on this side, because I'm going to have to lose some to make room for the tang. Yeah, I could just notch it right in the middle. The tang is on one side and the blade's on the other. I could do that, especially if it's flat. Just one big old notch in the middle and you half the upper part. Why are modern knives made that way? So you can grab it and chop without bumping your fingers on the cutting board or whatever you're working on. You're not going to bump your fingers on whatever you're working on. That's why we have a deep blade compared to the handle. It's not in the middle. Now in the old days they put it right in the middle. That way they could work both ends. They needed both ends because resharpening reduces it a lot. So you need a lot of width. You know what I mean? So if you have twice the edge potential, you're only going to lose. Let's see, how do I put this? If you got twice the edge potential, the losses of the width are not going to harm the knife as much as if you just had it on one side. You know what I mean? If you're able to flip it around on both sides, it's probably a little more long lasting than if you were to only work one side, but I could be wrong. Mathematically it's the same, unless you count the midsection. Yeah, what I mean is the middle of the blades here, if you start sharpening and go in this way, it gets thicker and thicker, much thicker than if you were to be sharpening here and here, because then you're sharpening only the thin areas. So maybe it's better, it's easier to sharpen. It might not be more long lasting, but it's easier to sharpen because these areas on the sides instead of in the middle are thinner. That could be the reason why they used to have it in the middle. Okay. Alright, so it looks like it's going to rain here in a minute. Hopefully I'll have enough time to do this and have the back hatch open, so I don't have to close the hatch during the rain and having the heat build up in the van. It's going to be unusually warm today. Figures. A crunch day where I have to do a lot of my work. Wait until the last minute. I'm trying to do other things during the week. Ooh, that ran very far. See how it already develops a patina? Some of this Georgetown. Some Georgetown will develop a patina right away. So there's a difference in color between the old and the new flakes in just a few days. Or just a couple days in this case. Alright. It looks like I'll be doing a lot of grinding. Yeah. I gotta get used to this steel on Georgetown. Make some adjustments. What was I knapping? Oh yeah. I put away that red shirt for another day. I can't be goofing around with it today. So it's in storage. And I'll be working all Georgetown today. It appears. I think I have some other stuff. I think I have a Novaculite blade actually, or a Biface that needs to be made into a blade. Yep. Yeah, I'll probably nap the Novaculite too, off camera, of course, so I don't break it. I don't want to break this one either, but I've got a lot more Georgetown than I do Novaculite. And this is not as easy to break. So let's see. I may not be able to upload this entire series. If this takes, yeah, it's going to take longer than this one video to make the knife blade. So it may take like 3 days for you guys to see this when it only took me a couple hours to film it because of the upload times. And I found out that if I upload between 4 and 7 in the morning, there's hardly anybody online or anybody using the network or whatever it's called. But I'm not awake at between 4 and 7 in the morning usually. I can upload a 30-minute video in just a couple hours at that hour in the morning. So I can probably get 2 videos in if I start at 3:30 or 4 in the morning. Yeah. I might try that if I have to. I can do it because sometimes I do wake up in the middle of the night. Especially if I go to sleep too early. If I don't have a regular schedule, I get all nervous and I wake up. Or if my audiobook is too loud, I leave it on at night. I fall asleep to audiobooks a lot of times. If it's too loud, it'll wake me up in the middle of the night. Now, the kind of audiobooks I listen to for sleeping are not the same as I listen to for education. The sleeping ones are usually fiction or some other gobbledygook. It's more compatible with dreaming. Anyway. Okay, let's see. I shouldn't have to be hitting it this hard, but you never know with this Georgetown stuff. Sometimes it just takes a little tap to release a flake. Sometimes you really got to wind up and knock the crap out of it. Sometimes you don't need to grind it much. And sometimes you need to grind it so much that it looks like nothing will break it. Like nothing will dent that platform. You know, it looks like you're making the platforms way too strong, but they're not. I'm just trying to regularize it. If I get a long flake, that's fine, but not really looking for long flakes, just enough to flatten it and regularize it. It's pretty straightforward. If you want to make a strong knife blade, just make it really thick. If you want to make a delicate knife blade, like meat cutting knife, it doesn't need to be very strong. You're not in danger of dropping it on rocks or whatever. It's not out in the field. You don't have it rattling around with other pieces of equipment. On your belt or whatever. There's other equipment on your belt, and maybe you're going through the bush. Once in a while you hit a tree stump or brush up against something solid. You need a strong blade for that, because all it takes is a little ding, little on a thin blade, and there it goes. You go to draw your knife out, and all you got is a handle. Yep. That's not good. And you can't even tell. Sometimes a little brush up against a tree is enough to do it. And you don't even notice until it's too late. Take your knife out and you go, wait a minute, where's the blade? Dang it. Some of you are saying, it's not that easy to break a stone knife. It's made of stone. Well, you obviously haven't carried one around before, so I wouldn't say nothing. You never stepped on one either, huh? Nope. I've done both, and I've broken both in those ways, carrying it or stepping on it. It's almost easier just to carry the blade without the handle. Just a piece of stone, like a large blade with no handle. Large biface, sharpened on one side or whatever. No handle. You want to wrap it, you can wrap it. But you can just grind it, you don't need to wrap it. If you grind one end, just hold it where it's been ground down. And lasts a lot longer as far as accidents go. You don't see those breaking too often. Well, I don't anyway. Just FYI, just a little experience there. I'm not saying that just because we see a lot of artifacts without handles. The vast majority were hafted in some way as far as the artifacts go. But they knew what they needed to do to preserve the blade. They grew up using stone for blades. I just have limited experience, and what experience I do have is because I was a klutz. The experience I have with broken blades is because I was a klutz. Wasn't paying attention or something. So yeah, the more I carry them around, the more I bang them around. See, I got those ads up there. Some of you might be thinking, what are those up there? They always has in the video. Those are ads. And no, not advertisements. Ads. Yeah. They're hanging around for two reasons. One, I get used to how delicate they are, and number two, so I won't forget them because I need to work with them. Stone tool woodworking. Still gonna do it. I'll have more time to do that kind of stuff off camera if I don't have to work on side projects off camera. The side projects off camera take priority over every other off camera thing, except for the auction. So guess what happens to the ads work? Nothing happens. They just sit there. But soon I'll be working with them. And the weather's getting cooler, so I can stay out, or I can be working in the sun without having to worry about the fatigue of being in hot weather. Just saps the energy out of you. You don't want to do anything that requires brain work, like trying to figure out how it's going to go. How are you going to do it? How are you going to do this? How are you going to do that? You're learning a new tools, new materials, new types of wood. Working with green wood instead of seasoned wood. Working with various types of seasoned wood. Hardwoods of various sorts that I haven't been working with in many years. Dang it, I don't know how I'm going to get rid of that. I can't get rid of it the easy way by knapping it. Well, I mean, I can't get rid of it because it's too hard to knap it. I can get rid of it the easy way by grinding it off and flaking over the grind. Yeah, you can just grind that down with a rotary tool. You just grind all these things flush with the rotary tool. All these step fractures can be ground flush with a rotary tool. Then you just flake over it with another flake, instead of having to mess with them. But this is a Flintknapping video. This is not a rotary tool video. Yeah. Why do you flake over the top of the rotary tool? Flattening, so it doesn't look like you ground it down. You don't want to see those rotary tool grinding marks. And what do they look like? They look like it's been sanded. You get these striations in it, and it doesn't look shiny like the rest of these flake removals. Looks dull. I should have been paying attention to the flake removals a little more carefully, because as it gets to the center here, it's much easier to mess up with step fractures when it's really wide. But see, since I'm going to lose some of this edge, I can send flakes in. I can probably get this one from this side, but this one I got to try to pick that out, because I can't get it from the other side without a lot of risk. Yeah, so I just push on the step fracture face, the face of the step fracture. And I got to make sure that that's prepared ahead of time, so it doesn't have a bend in it or a burr. It's got to be flat on both sides, and I already maintained it yesterday or the day before. I already ground it down so that there wouldn't be any issues with it. Okay. Because you need to be able to push off against the face of the step fracture and peel back. You're still going to get metal marks, but it's better than the step fracture, because the step fractures are nasty ugly. Nasty. On modern points. Modern points are supposed to be all nice and pretty. And I can get that some other technique. Let's see. Yeah, I can get the rest of that. But it's going to take a while to pressure flake a little area to where I can flake that effectively. This one here, I need to run a flake this way. There's going to have to be an area somewhere along there on the edge, so I can push a flake there, and the flake will expand out And the edge of the expansion should take off that step fracture. But I got a step fracture right in front of that area. So I gotta make sure this is smooth, this area. See, I can't do the zoomed in because I don't have another finger exposed from the glove. I need 2 fingers to zoom in, or to zoom in. I need to get the tip of my thumb into the action. Yeah. But I had to protect my thumb. I can cut my thumb accidentally pretty easily. So I don't want to cut the thumb off. So the only way to do it is if I hit the focus there, or hit the focus like that. Oops. But see, I'm trying to get this area set up to run a flake. It's got to be carefully done. It's not careful yet. It's not carefully done yet. I gotta get rid of this. And expose this area here, because I'm going to be sending the flake in there. Now, I ran a few flakes this way. It took care of a little bit of the front of that. It did pop out a little flake. I might have enough time before time is up to run that one damage control flake. Okay. Did it do it? I think so. I got a lot of it. But it didn't widen out far enough. So I got to run another flake into that area to clean up that. That's not going to be too difficult. All right, next segment.